Welcome to the InGeneral podcast, the Jurassic Outpost podcast, episode 115, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but it feels like a lot. That's not so good.
It sounds like a lot to me.
A lot of hours.
That's 115 episodes.
Well, how many days in a year? What, 20? I don't know what's going on. How many?
Yeah, that sounds right. Sounds right.
But anyway, I'm joined with that voice is our resident lawyer, Corey. Nice to have you here. Everybody, mum's the word, of course.
How's it going, everybody? Happy to be here.
Good to see you. Joined with Caleb and Double D. Derek is on the call as well. It's good to have.
What's up?
Welcome. Before we jump into the new movie, which is the most exciting thing to talk about, there is a bit of survival news, and there is, of course, the Mattel news. So first off, survival. Where are we at with Jurassic Park survival? I think it's a little worrying, but I don't think there's a need to worry right now.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's too early to kind of be in panic mode on us losing survival. I mean, just from a legal standpoint, from it, like any sort of merger or any sort of selling of a company, I mean, there's parts are going to bleed, as probably our favorite parts of a Jurassic Park movie would. But I think that Jurassic is too strong of an IP for them to allow that to bleed. And especially with as big of a showing as they had with the trailer at the Game Awards, like that got a lot of response. And so if that were to go by the wayside just because the developer got sold, I would find that really weird.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like out of all their upcoming titles, aside from the random announcement of the Star Wars one, it does seem to be the biggest, the most popular title they have. So it would be. Right. It seems like nobody would want that to be, put to the side to focus on other things. It does seem like things will be fine, but who knows? I mean, it depends who these private investors are. They might be not a big Jurassic fan.
We don't care for them then.
Yeah. No, I really can't wait for survival though. I hope that we get. I know that in this period, it's going to be nobody can talk, nobody can say anything, and that's normal. But I really hope that they kind of tease the game again soon. Maybe they put like a little gameplay clip out or something, and maybe like a year or something. I think that would be.
We're due. Like I was thinking about this the other day. Like we're just due like a game of that caliber because we just haven't had. Like we've had park builder games and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not a huge I played them. I'm not a huge park builder game. Like that's just not my cup of tea. But like a true like first person survival horror game like Alien Isolation and Jurassic Park would be crazy. And we're just due that, I think.
Truly. They tried in the 90s. Trespasser was a first of its kind. And I mean, we still get a lot of love out of that. But yeah, Jurassic has been calling for this kind of game. And it's crazy that this will technically be the third time that they've tried to make a survival game in Jurassic. And I'm glad that the third time they've gone back to Park as well. I think like after, the world era, it is fun to go right back to the beginning again. I think that's going to be really exciting. Do you think there's a chance that they are planning to tie some of survival or something that happens in survival to the new movie?
We talked about that a little bit last time about how close the announcements were. Like the game announcement was in December, and then the movie announcement. Like I mean, I feel like there's an argument for them sort of being tied together. Like they're obviously thinking about them at the same time and announcing them close together, and like prequel rumors for the movie. Like I don't know. I was gonna say it would just be insane if this got canceled again.
And we'll probably talk about it like later in the episode, but with Gareth and with his recent announcement where he called it a Jurassic Park movie, like that like tying back to this like survival game, like that's gonna be I mean that to me it's a link, and that's all we need to speculate. It's just a link, and we've got it.
Yeah, at the very least, maybe Jurassic Park Survival introduces something that makes sense later for something they're doing in a movie.
Yeah. So. Yeah, absolutely. I wonder which is going to come first at this point, though, because you never know. Maybe Survival is going to come right at the end of 2025.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's crazy. I mean, again, we will get to Jurassic World 4, but it's crazy to think that it's like nearly here. It's not going to be long, and that we're going to be watching the next Jurassic movie. That is ridiculous. It's just over a year.
It's gonna be our shortest waiting period ever.
Yeah,
So.
it seriously is. Okay, so before we get to Jurassic, I'm really pumped to talk about that. There is another thing to talk about. Mattel have renewed their Jurassic World licensing deal. So, I mean, that was to be expected. Mattel have done an incredible job for the past few years. I think they've brought the majority of people, like when we were all younger and we wanted certain toys and different actors, different characters to have toys, different dinosaurs, different sets. I feel like they've fulfilled that now. They've done so many and so many sets and so many different things, and even the retro collection that Mattel have just like they've knocked it out of the park there.
I agree.
I absolutely agree. They got the license right before Fallen Kingdom and started with Fallen Kingdom, and these toy industry people say that these deals are generally like 5 to 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it's been 6-ish since they started with the Fallen Kingdom stuff. So they've, maybe they've been in negotiations for it for a little while. And then now they're just, I mean, my thought when I read that, or one of my thoughts when I read that news was like, maybe they've talked with Universal and like they've got a big 5-year deal in place because they know more about the movie plans than we do and how much is coming down the pipeline, and
Yeah, because
Mattel's going to be there
you
for
can
it.
almost guarantee that this is a new trilogy, like the way that they're seeing this. Like Gareth isn't planning 3 movies, but this is the first of 3. It's almost you can almost guarantee that, right? That's the way
That's how Jurassic works.
That's how Jurassic works, right? Until they
They're
break
just
that
taking the
trend.
Star Wars method.
Yeah, yeah, do them in 3s. It really works.
Yeah.
It's really proven for Jurassic.
Yeah.
But no, it's good for Mattel. I just hope that the deal allows for other companies to maybe come in and do specialized lines. I'd love NECA to do maybe like, depending on what Jurassic Park Survival really ends up being about, and if depending on which characters you see, like somebody brought up, imagine if you could see Muldoon, or imagine if you could see some of the staff before the disaster happens. If NECA did a little survival line or something, that would be something I would really like. I've always wanted NECA Jurassic stuff. But anyway, let's not talk about that. Let's talk about Jurassic City, because there really is a lot to cover there. Until we have a new name, that is what it's going to be called.
No.
Should it be? Should it be?
Jurassic City. Set on Isla Sorna.
Let's just call it Jurassicville. Like, why not?
Jurassicville.
Jurassicville.
Jurassic Village. Jurassic Village.
Village.
Here's what I want to say about Jurassic City. Those plot rumors the other day about scientists on Isla Sorna needing to be rescued by a special team.
Yeah.
Some other guy was the one who tweeted it, but Sicky responded and said, tried to say it was legit. But my thought was maybe if Jurassic City has any validity whatsoever, maybe the scientists who are at this facility on Isla Sorna with all the different buildings, etc., maybe they nickname themselves Jurassic City or something. And that's maybe that's part of the story. Maybe it's just a silly name, or something. I don't know.
Well, if that, I mean, that story isn't true, but that actually sounds
right.
Really
yeah,
cool.
exactly.
Hurricane Clarissa going in, saving people on Sorna. That's would mean that we would get to see the Sorna InGen Village in operation. Yeah. And that's something that a lot of that's a deep cut for many fans. I think we all want to see that, especially because a lot of the village was taken away in that final act. We were going to see more of it. So I think, I mean, the idea was not true, but that would be a really cool idea for a prequel. One covering giving us a real answer about Hurricane Clarissa and showing us that, because really what we know about it comes both from Lost World, but Trespasser is what a lot of people take, right, Derek?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, the John Hammond's story in his memoir tells so much more that happened on that island that could be really rich to be explored in a movie, or at least details from it. Maybe see things that he talked about could be seen in a new movie. So that would be exciting.
Yeah, I like the way he talked. The Hammond voiceover talked about the, for lack of a better word, like the vibe the island had when it was in operation and all the staff living there.
Yeah.
I just think it would be really great to see that, and obviously a storm, just a storm, rain, thunderstorm, flying into an island in a thunderstorm. Give me that. That is Jurassic Park to a T. Like
Mm.
I want to see a
And
crack.
Woo is there maybe,
Yeah.
and someone with the last name Lockwood is there maybe too. Or
No,
Let's get
boo.
some de-aging going on.
Oh
We'll
god,
throw
yeah.
everything in the new one.
That's it. Gareth Edwards is a very visual effects driven filmmaker, but in the right way. We've seen it. Just he
Yeah.
understands it, so it's always kind of powerful, and it's the same that people were saying about June 2. I can't speak
Yeah.
for it myself, but the VFX works because, oh, guess what? They actually planned it properly.
Yeah.
They did all the
And
prep work,
and it works.
yeah,
It
yeah.
works.
Dune
And
2
they-
is incredible.
I
Yes.
can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. I also totally forgotten what we're talking about now, so maybe we should pivot to June.
this is now Jurassic Dune post.
Yeah.
we're just-
Dune post.
It used to be Jurassic June. Now it's Jurassic Dune.
That's
That's
what
it.
it is.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Didn't
Yeah.
didn't Jurassic June kind of disappear anyway? Like the person who started it disappeared. It's like, what
Yeah,
happened?
it hasn't been a thing because I used to have a big Twitter account, and it just like the last couple of years, probably more than a couple, like 5 years now, it just kind of like never
Yeah,
had a
but I do
presence
feel like
anymore.
Yeah.
the spirit of Jurassic June is still there. People still.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna
It's
say he's like a messiah figure now. We all just celebrate this
God.
random holiday he started.
yeah. I
Dune
think
Messiah?
I think I spoke to him a little bit ago. Like he's doing good. I think he's just too busy to kind of come back. But
Yeah.
I like that he started something and then ran, and now we're all experiencing
It's
this
on you
great. Like
guys.
it's great. Even the studio take part. It is a
Yeah.
good thing.
It's
It's
ripples, man. You throw a stone, things happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good fun. So Gareth is locked in. We know that for sure now, and he said some very exciting things. Right? He said some very positive
Yes.
things about the movie.
Correct.
Enlightened.
Okay, hang on. I should have had this pulled up.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it now.
So
We're great at prep.
the reason the words like Gareth is locked in or the ink is dry or whatever you want to say can be said is because like he is willing to say more things now, I feel like, and like these articles that are coming out today and yesterday are like referring to him as Jurassic World 4 director Gareth Edwards.
Yeah.
Like just straightforward.
It's just
But anyway,
beautiful words. Beautiful words.
absolutely. So in one of the articles talking about the confirmation of them filming at Sky Studios Elstree in the UK, they said Jurassic World 4 director Gareth Edwards also expressed his delight at the news. And this is Gareth's words, watching Star Wars as a child, I always assumed blockbuster filmmaking was just a distant dream for someone growing up in the UK. But then as I watched the behind the scenes, I suddenly realized it was all filmed in a studio just outside of London, and that making ambitious commercial films is totally within the reach of British filmmakers. When I finally got to make my first film, Monsters, it was made in the true independent style, with a small cast and crew, a tiny budget, and shot in just a few weeks. I learned so much so fast and would definitely describe it as one of the most creative experiences I've ever had. Without that opportunity, I would never have been given Godzilla, Star Wars, and The Creator. And now, as we organize shooting the new Jurassic Park film in a
Yes.
studio just outside London,
Hell yeah.
I hope we inspire other new filmmakers to shoot small but always dream big.
Yes. Come on.
There it is.
That's what we want to hear.
Yeah.
It's really
the
good
thing
words.
The thing is, like David Leitch could be saying this, and we could be like, okay, yeah, it sounds really promising. But Gareth has the movies to back it. I love all of his movies. Again, I haven't seen The Creator, but all three of his movies are just solid. I'd watch them all again now. I watched Monsters the other day. Like he is the right. Him saying it means a lot more than say like David Leitch saying it. And that's what I've seen a few comments from people saying, oh, everybody was out when it was David Leitch and they're in for Gareth. It makes no sense. It's the same screenplay. And I was like, what are you missing about what a director does in movies? Like,
It's a
It's
totally
the
different
same.
vision.
like,
Yes,
Jesus
it's
Christ.
the same screenplay by David Koepp.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah.
I'm excited for that. I feel like the David Koepp thing was so out of left field. Never expected him to come back, but also it's just so bizarre. It really it seems like it's coming from a really positive place. They're obviously trying to go back to that era.
It just shows effort. It shows effort from the studio that, like, to me, that I haven't seen in a long time. They're trying to go back to the roots. They're trying to find, obviously, the right writer, the right director that has a history of doing films that are very Jurassic Park adjacent and like have the feel of that, and just like bring them all together for something that's not, a Fast and Furious movie. It's like an actual Jurassic Park movie, which is like, that's the really exciting part to like fans that just want to see a good Jurassic movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems like they've been addressing, I guess, the concerns that many people have had, and that's not even to take away from anybody that loves the Jurassic World movies, but there just are like comments from people that are like, yeah, we'd like a return to this, or we'd like to see this, whether it's in a side project, a spin-off movie. But that is another thing. Like, it's obviously right now everybody's calling it Jurassic World 4 because it's the next one, but Gareth refers to it as Jurassic Park. But do we think it's going to be like the next one, or do we think it's going to kind of be its own spin-off story, the same way Prey was?
I'm hoping the latter, because it's, I still struggle to think of where to go after Dominion in a way without it just seeming so random, like, without using any of the characters. I feel like it would just be like a random scenario somewhere using dinosaurs as like a backdrop, almost, not as like, I don't know, like, where's the mythology, you know what I mean? Like, where's the lore? Like, that's what would be missing if we did a Dominion, post Dominion movie. Whereas if we go back, and there's still so much we could say between Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, there's so many unaccounted for years, or after Jurassic Park 3, between that and Jurassic World, there's so many unaccounted for years where anything could have happened that we just don't know about, and that people like David Koepp come up with. So I think that's exciting. I also just want to add, I think it's almost sad that we never got to hear David Leitch say anything about the movie before he got axed. Like, we'll never know like what words of wisdom he could have
He's
had
probably,
that Gareth Edwards already does.
after
locked
like
down.
maybe upsetting Spielberg and Frank Marshall, I think he's probably got a padlock around his lips.
Well, I think he's one of the only other people on the planet who knows what the story is, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try. What's his next movie called? Maybe we should try set up an Outpost for that. Get an interview. Try and get in.
So his last movie was
his
movie that's about to come out is The Fall Guy. So his next one is like The Spring Guy or The Summer Guy.
Believe that.
It's called the Guy franchise, and
it's just about a guy, and he's like
guy for all seasons.
He does stuff. Yeah,
this is a random thought that we don't need to spend much time on, but I think like the post-Dominion stuff, if you're gonna do like dinosaurs are in this location or dinosaurs are in that location, like that would fit better for a TV series. I think like if you could do like episodic,
which they're doing.
Dinosaurs are here. This is happening.
Different
like that kind of thing.
Of the world where it makes sense for it to like. There's some.
Yeah,
if you think about it, like truly, I mean, to me, one of the best entries in the world era of Jurassic was Battle of Big Rock, which was super short, and that shows how Jurassic can be really well done in short form. And like if we had some sort of series that was maybe even push it a little darker or something like that, that was episodic every week, I would definitely get on board with that. That would be great if we had more Battle of Big Rock.
I think for a time that was the plan. I know that obviously again the pandemic affected the Dominion's production and stuff. But I was always under the impression that they were going to do more short films in this sort of world, help bridge that gap even further. And it's a shame that they never did. It'd be interesting to see what other ideas Colin had in that world. Because yeah, I think Battle of Big Rock's probably my favorite of the four. If you want to say the four world movies, definitely.
And Universal put in like good money to go in on Battle of Big Rock for something that was just like aired on TV, like that.
Yeah, it was supposed to be in the cinema though. I don't know why they did that. They should.
That was such a wild. The PR on that was so wild.
Did they think people weren't going to like it? You know, like the little 9-minute Jurassic dinosaurs attack. Like they thought people wouldn't like that before a movie. That's so weird.
It was.
And then they go and
with
use some of
Hobbs
that
and
footage.
Shaw.
Yeah, they go and use some of that footage for Dominion. All the little random shots that were intercut at the very end of Battle of Big Rock, and they used them for the beginning of Dominion.
Yeah.
It was Battle at Big Rock was supposed to be with Hobbs and Shaw, which was directed by David Leitch.
It's like poetry. It rhymes.
Yeah, but he does have. He did work on Jurassic World. He was the second unit director, I think. On some of Jurassic World. So he's worked with all those cats in Hollywood before. Frank and Pat Crowley, those cats. So I guess and his next movie is it's still with cats at Universal, right? He's still working at Universal. The next movie.
I can't remember.
I can't say for sure.
The one after that, didn't he just land another movie at Universal?
He just signed on for another thing, but I'm not sure what it is.
So it can't be too bad. I mean, he upset Spielberg, but they must have made a mess.
We'll give you something else.
Yeah. But so that was my point. So the Fool Guy, Ryan Gosling. There was something about this, right? Spielberg.
Yeah. I was talking earlier. I just saw Dune 2 today, and Fall Guy was one of the trailers that came on before it. And to be fair, it doesn't look bad. Ryan Gosling is he can act in a lot of. He's got range, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And it looks funny. I like him. I like Emily Blunt. They seem to be a good combo together, at least as far as the trailer goes. So who knows what's going to happen when the movie comes out? But that movie looks good to me. Having Ryan in a Jurassic movie would be interesting. It's hard for me to imagine that, but not out of the picture. I mean, it seems unlikely that it's going to happen, but I don't know. That would be a weird combination.
He's definitely an actor that is very selective with his work. So obviously, The Fool Guy can't be a bad movie.
Right.
He doesn't seem to put his name to things randomly. He really does. He is a very selective actor, right? So it'll be interesting to see The Fool Guy. The comments were from Spielberg saying that he saw The Fool Guy, right? So something about I should have pulled this up.
Spielberg and Gosling were at the same event. I don't know if it was a party or a premiere or what. And apparently Spielberg made a beeline for Ryan Gosling because he had seen The Fall Guy and loved it, and went over to personally tell him I loved this movie, you were great, the movie was great. And so Ryan Gosling was like, wow, Steven Spielberg told me this movie was good. I don't care about what anyone else said. So
yeah. And that obviously then makes you think, well, okay, they were looking at Leitch. They really were. And there's a reason that they were seeking him out for Jurassic. The Fool Guy is something Spielberg enjoyed.
Yeah, I really think that must have been they were The Fall Guy was awesome. We got to hire this guy or something. But
yeah, and it makes you wonder, okay, so what is the Jurassic story enough that I guess we all need to see Fool Guy to be okay, because if The Fool Guy is just nonstop action, I'll be like, what is going on with this movie? But if it's got some real good subtext, it's got a nice. I don't know. I don't even know what it's about. So
The Fall Guy is a TV series from the 80s or the 70s.
Oh, I didn't know that.
that it's based on, and it's about a stuntman in Hollywood. So
yeah, the trailer.
Go ahead. He was a stuntman, I think, David Leitch, right? Originally. So
yeah, I think so. For John Wick, I think. Yeah,
maybe it's his Fablemans. Maybe it's his little file thing.
Oh, the way that was
Be
so funny to me, what it was.
Derek, you've been very excited. You've been talking about this non-stop, I'd say, for best part of 3 months about Zach returning in Jurassic World, and then the actor finally actually spoke out about it, which is, I mean, I'm personally gonna go with like probably a no from me, but he's up for returning.
First of all, Jack is a liar because I have not been championing for this. But I mean, I will say though, I don't think some people hate the kid characters in Jurassic World, Zach and Gray. Oh, Corey's pointing to himself over there. He hates them. He hates them. But I never had a problem with them. I mean, they're still like my least favorite kids in the series, but I didn't think they were that annoying or anything. But having said that, I don't think there's any chance in hell that he would be in a new Jurassic movie, nor would I want that.
Derek, will
I mean,
will you read that paragraph in your article, please? Because it was perfect.
Oh, let me bring it up really quick. I'll do it in the dramatic voice just to make it dramatic.
While you're looking for that, my take on the Jurassic World kids is that they have always struck me as the annoying teenagers of the 2000s generation. And I'm not trying to call anybody out, but like I just think they nailed
That was the point.
The moody, annoying teenager. But like
I guess if you look at them like that, like under that lens, but to me, any of the kid characters that have been in a Jurassic movie, whether it's been Park, Lost World, or whatever, like they all have redeeming qualities to them. They may have some faults to them, but they're all
good
have
at
at
gymnastics.
Least, yeah, like right. They can kick a raptor through a window after they got cut from the team. They've got everything's. Everybody's got something. Gray and Zach have zero redeeming qualities. They are constantly annoying throughout the entire thing, and they just they don't have like even their supposed save the day moment where they fixed up this Jeep that's 20 something years old. How that works, I have no idea. It doesn't come off as authentic. It just
anybody that's ever worked on a car knows.
Exactly. It's like, okay, we're just gonna replace the battery from this Jeep that's been sitting here for 20 years, and it works because I fixed my grandma's car one time.
Yeah. Well, I know what you got to do. Cars just run on a battery. That's it. That's all you got to do.
That's it. No,
I think my view, before Derek does enlighten us, I think it's just, out of all the kids, they're just the least believable. Like, I know that they're both quite talented actors. I don't know what it was about Jurassic World. I just couldn't quite buy their screams. And I know that sounds weird, but you compare the screams of Tim and Lex to the screams of Gray and Zach, and you're like, okay, Tim and Lex feel like they're actually going to die.
Yeah.
In this movie. Didn't buy it. And then I guess that's kind of the superficial feel that Jurassic World has to me. Not just them. But anyway,
follow the screams.
Yeah.
All right. All right, this is a work of art right here. So while it is nice to know that he is willing to return, it is all up to the script and the filmmakers if he really will. This is not a confirmation by any means. Still, it is nice to entertain what happened to Zach after the first Jurassic World film. Was he forever traumatized by the event? Did he stop giving his brother a hard time? Did his parents divorce, or did they stay together for some reason? Has he stopped staring at girls thinking something will actually happen? Did he finally respect his girlfriend? Maybe his experience at Nublar inspired him to hunt dinosaurs out of revenge for what happened to him and Gray. There. Mic drop.
He I mean, that was wonderful.
Thank you. I don't.
I think we should have audio recordings of all of our articles that we write. So just
Yeah.
a little button, you just click play, and Derek reads you his entire article.
That's it. Just Derek. It's
In
just
the
Derek.
same
Oh
over-the-top
yeah, just
nature. Yeah.
Derek
all
on all
of
of them.
Or the Hammond option. You could use that AI Hammond voice thing and to generate.
Oh no, that's gone now.
That's
They
actually a really cool
they got
idea.
rid of it. Yeah.
What?
That would have been fun.
No.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
because the companies that do those kind of things are getting sued now by studios and people, their
Whose voices
estates
they're
kind of
creating,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah, so they
that's a
got
shame.
rid
That
of
would have been a
the.
really cool idea.
Yeah.
On Jurassic Outpost, every article can be read to you by John Hammond.
We just got to get an impersonator, or else to do the old-fashioned way of hiring an actor.
Yeah,
Get
maybe
a
pay for
starving
David
actor.
Attenborough, but they don't sound too similar. I wonder if David Attenborough could do the Scottish Hammond.
Yeah,
I wonder if it would sound really similar. Like I bet he
it would be
pull it off.
believable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder how much he costs. Way over our budget, maybe.
Might be that love.
He's a little busy.
All right, so what do we want this movie to be called? Jurassic City, right? That's like the best name it could be so far. Right? God damn.
Don't encourage them.
Does it have to be a double title? Like, does it have to be Jurassic something? Are we like, is that the parameters you think that we're working under, or do you think like they would do something and like come out of left field and just call it Jurassic or something? Like,
I think
just one word.
all of the suggestions I've not liked. People saying, well, what about if they call it like Jurassic Era? Jurassic
Right.
Saga is like one of the, because of Saga Productions, people think it might be that. Jurassic City, obviously. I don't like any of them. I wasn't really a fan when they changed away from park to world. I understood why they did it. I just like, I like Jurassic Park. That's the franchise. It's still going, right?
That's what the source material is. Like
We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Jurassic Park. So
yeah.
And
Literally.
I don't know. I like when we talked about Prey earlier. Like that name was so good because it like spun it on its head of what the Predator movies were. And then like I liked that a lot. And I don't know if there's room to do that with something like Jurassic. I don't even know how you would do that, but
I feel like
something along those lines.
With a title that doesn't even have Jurassic in it would be such a fascinating move for them. To not be like, oh, it's the next Jurassic World movie. I mean, they would obviously advertise as such, but calling it something like Prey or a singular word or something that you're like, yeah, that sounds like a Jurassic Park movie, but it doesn't, it's not, the name and then Jurassic Park or something. I think that would be really interesting. It really depends on what the story is and, what era we're going to actually be in. Because if
I've got it. The dinosaurs are always eating people with their mouths. What if we called it something like Jaws, right?
Oh,
like
that's
like
good.
Is that about a dentist?
It sounds good to me. I don't know what it is, but that one sounds good to me.
And then speaking of Zach and Gray, what if we called it More Teeth?
More Teeth.
More Teeth, the movie.
Well, let's not say we did.
I do worry about what it's going to be called. I do worry. I worry they'll pick a very blockbustery title.
Oh yeah, there's a poll on Twitter, and we asked people what they wanted it to be called, and we gave them the options of Jurassic City, Jurassic Saga, which both make me want to throw up. The third one was Jurassic Park subtitle.
Yeah.
And then the fourth one was Jurassic World subtitle. Mm-hmm. So I guess the subtitle could go before the World or Park.
Yeah. It'd be nice to do it before and have a Lost World again, something. And then
Jurassic. And if it's a prequel series, like of what happened before they built Jurassic World, you could call it the Lost Park Jurassic World, and it would make so much sense. And it would be perfect. It would.
But goddamn, I hope they don't do that. It would be funny though. Maybe they should. That would be good.
Yeah.
I always thought they should have put Fallen Kingdom and Dominion before. I wish it would have been Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World, or Dominion. I don't know, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Dominion, calling it Dominion could have been cool, especially because the logo they did on the posters and stuff, that really was just the circle logo. It didn't say Jurassic World. If they just titled the movie Dominion and then subtitled Jurassic World, that could have worked. That could have been quite effective. A lot of people have, made the assumption that maybe that was them trying to rebrand so that the franchise can be seen as just the icon itself. So there is no need for Jurassic World, Jurassic Park. It just becomes the Rex icon is the Jurassic saga, I guess. Like, makes sense.
And the Rex literally became the icon in the movie.
Some people really like that.
I enjoyed it. But
I mean, yeah.
Sorry.
But to that point, it would be cool if they said, okay, this is the Jurassic franchise now, and made that clear, and then the titles of the movies are something else, like Clever Girl or Nublar or Sorna or something. I don't know. But
Site B.
Evacuation.
Oh my gosh, what if it was Site B?
Jurassic World Evacuation doesn't actually sound terrible to me. I don't know what it is. Yeah, like especially if you're like rescuing type of plot, rescuing scientists or whatever, even though we know that may not even be true, but
I know.
Yeah.
It should have been.
I think something like that, maybe.
True.
I want the name to really incite a lot. Like, if they called it Extinction, there'd be a lot of discussion about, like, okay, where could that go? It would really it opens up a lot of ideas. I hope we get a title that gives us enough that we can kind of get an idea on, like, where we're going to be going, what it might be about, but oblivious enough that make us completely, like, clueless guessing. I think
if we go along an extinction route, if the title ends up being Extinction, the first thing my head goes to in that scenario is like the prequel Planet of the Apes films, which are great, and it like that truly sounds like we're heading on the trajectory of, okay, humans are going extinct and dinosaurs are becoming the primary species on the planet. Which, hey, those movies were really effective.
They were.
Before Dominion, there were articles of people speculating about the plot and, like, dinosaurs that are going to have dominion over the earth, and, like, saying that they hope the dinosaurs win over the humans. And I'm all for that. I hope it would never get to the point where dinosaurs are talking and, like, creating their own societies.
Yeah,
like,
Alan.
God.
Yeah.
We've had a good series, haven't we?
There's definitely hesitation. I'm more excited than I've ever been since, pre-Jurassic World days. I'm still hesitant, though. I'm cautiously very excited. Because it's the same team that has brought us to Path 3. So for me, I am still concerned that maybe Spielberg and Frank Marshall aren't looking at it the same way we might be. But all signs so far are on the right track. And I think Gareth was... I mean, I said this before, but it was just Godzilla. I remember watching Godzilla back in 2014 and thinking, oh, wow, this guy would make a good Jurassic. And it's great that he is now. I think I tweeted something about, like, maybe we'll get the Jurassic Park 4 we always wanted. And maybe that is what's going to happen. Maybe not like to replace Jurassic World, but maybe he's going to take us to that era, post JP3, but long before Jurassic World. So maybe it's an abandoned Isla Nublar, or maybe we are going to Sorna. If we are returning to an island, which of the two, if it's either of the two, would you prefer?
I don't have a preference, honestly. I think either one is rife with good story possibilities. I mean, we talked previously, already, that I think the logical place, if we're doing some sort of going back to the island scenario, is a prequel series for World, which would mean going back to probably both of them at that point, because you're probably going to be taking dinosaurs from Sorna, bringing them back to Nublar and going that route. So, there's like a ton of possibility for both of them to be in the next movie, which I don't think is a bad choice at all.
Mm. I think I'd have to side with Sauna because it's been so long. You know, I think all the world movies basically avoided the island, so in a way, it is the perfect place to set something. Even it could be set during the world era. It could be set post Dominion. We still don't know what's going on Sauna. All we know is that Biosyn and probably other companies took some dinosaurs. They poached dinosaurs, but as far as we're aware, there are still species there existing, right? They didn't take them all, or did they? I don't know.
What about the lysine contingency?
We could put that into it.
I figured out.
Something has to
I
rise.
figured out how the animals are getting around the lysine contingency.
I don't care.
I don't care. We care. The audience cares. Tell us. Come on. No, that. God, yeah. Lost World. Kep's writing. David Kep. Come on.
Yes.
We're gonna get it. We're gonna get someone shouting on the island again.
Sarah.
How many Sarahs do you think are on this island?
Oh, didn't you hear Moonfall did that joke first?
Oh, Moonfall was the one by Emmerich, right?
Yeah, Roland Emmerich.
I didn't.
Oh
ever see
God,
that
I
movie.
forgot.
That
Why'd
was
you
the whole
invite
thing.
me?
Yeah, because they had that same joke, and somebody called them out on it. They posted the trailer on Instagram, and somebody called them out and said, "This joke is from the Lost World." And the official account responded and was like, "No, it's not. This is original.
Yeah.
Stop
I
commenting."
do.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, "No, I screenshotted it somewhere." But yeah, they
I do remember that.
pushed back.
I think it was Emmerich's Instagram directly. I think he was like, "No, it's not.
Yeah,
What's the Lost World? I've never heard of it."
right.
Who's Spielberg?
Yeah. I was actually.
They
quite
eat mostly agma beans, soy, everything lysine rich, and the carnivores, they eat the herbivores. So
That is.
Where's
such
the
a great
GIF?
introduction to her character walking along there
it's
because
fantastic.
you heard so much about Sarah up to that point. Yeah, great movie.
That's an Aaron
No, I'm
Sorkin
excited
walk
for
and
Kep.
talk right there.
Kep is going to bring that back, that chemistry, that back and forth. I'm excited.
Can I tell my favorite David Kep story?
Please.
The scene on the boat where they're talking to the guy who took them close to the island and he won't go any further up the river, that little scene on the boat, David Kep wrote that the day they shot it because they had a problem. They were supposed to land. They were going to film a scene where they made landfall and were unloading stuff on the island and blah blah blah, but it just, I don't know exactly what happened, but it didn't work and they had to switch stuff up. And he wrote that great scene where they're talking about the 5 deaths and shooting yourself in the foot with the gun, and David Kep wrote that day.
You'd be dead before
amazing.
you realized you had an accident. Eddie.
Yeah.
Oh, motherfucker. Yeah, that's amazing. I didn't know that.
I think that was in the Jurassic Park EVH book. I think that's where that story came from,
Something
right?
like
Because it was
that,
in
yeah.
the
Wow.
the first one. Yeah,
That's so cool. That is one of my favorite scenes. It's that comes just before. It's not called Malcolm's Journey anymore, but Malcolm's Journey, right? What's it called?
Well,
now?
there's the album version, and then
what's the
there's
real
the
name of the track?
expanded version. It's a
Journey
complicated
to the Island. Is that?
Well, that's Jurassic Park.
Jurassic
We're going back.
What did they call it? We had this on one of the podcasts. We were talking about it.
It's called
it
To the Island.
To the Island. That's it.
Oh yeah.
I prefer Malcolm's Journey. Malcolm's
Yeah.
Journey's a better title.
Same.
Yeah. So we'll call it that.
Well, I think Malcolm's Journey, wasn't that an album edit too? Like it combined, I think, 2 different cues. Maybe I'm wrong.
At least,
that happened when
yeah.
So that's why they created a new title, because they couldn't use the original title or whatever. So that's what happens in the soundtrack world. Right,
legal stuff.
We love it. Legal makes everything better. Rules are fun.
Rules are made to be broken.
And the only one on my side is the blood-sucking lawyer.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, don't tell Spielberg he'll put you in his next movie because he likes to get rid of lawyers, like in our lawyer jokes, like in Hook. Always remember that one.
I mean,
Bruce,
Bruce the Shark animatronic was named after his lawyer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll get a Unlucky Bastard is actually named after me. I didn't know if y'all knew that or not. But, that's just he did that little nod to Corey.
If there is another, I know they did this on all three of the world movies. There was a bit of open casting that allowed for crowds to come in. We know a number of people that like ended up on the world set and things like that in Louisiana. But it would be cool if there was something near you, Corey, at some point for the next Jurassic, and then
I'd take it.
choose you to be the death. That would be another lawyer.
I think the closest I've got, because didn't they do a contest for that for Dominion? Like
the guy on the
scooter,
moped,
the scooter.
Yeah. just
That's pretty epic, though. I would have loved that.
That'd be pretty great if I could get in on that. Legal my way into that.
Yeah, absolute dessert. He earned the death.
Scooter Man.
He was just scootering on through to battling it out. Like, kind of asked for it.
That's what makes me frustrated because they used to make almost every movie in Los Angeles, and I live like 3 hours from it. But in my entire adult life, they've not filmed a single Jurassic movie in LA again. So it's like there goes any chance of me ever being an extra unless I go, hundreds or thousands of miles to like New Orleans or the UK. Apparently now. Yeah. So it's like some people did.
There's rumors of. There's rumors of filming in LA. So.
And I don't think that. Yeah. It totally depends on our story. But if they're going to Hawaii to film something, if they're taking us to the islands or whatever it is, if they are going to Hawaii, then there's probably a reason. There's probably loads of reasons they would end up shooting something in California too, whether it's at the studios or I don't know. It just makes sense. I feel like there might be some logic to that, whether it's just because of certain sound stages at Universal that they need. In LA for maybe it's certain size studio. I don't know. How big is
strapping a camera on the Jurassic World ride so they don't have to pay for a mosasaur tank. So they could just get the footage, just put it in the movie there. Save millions of dollars.
Yeah. We did get confirmation. We were talking about it a bit before, but confirmation that it is indeed filming in the UK at Sky Studios, and that there was even. Sorry, I should have pulled up these links. Sky Studios. They were saying about is it the British government have given them an incentive? Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, can I?
Taxes.
I wanted to. I love the way they worded that because I'm a dumb American, but they said UK government unveils tax relief for studios and indie film credit as Jurassic World 4 set shoot in country. But then the fun part is. During the reading of the UK government's spring budget on Wednesday, Chancellor of the Exchequer, Jeremy Hunt, revealed a 40% corporate tax relief for film and TV studios through 2034. So,
it's impressive.
I just love Chancellor of the Exchequer. It's one of my favorite things.
You should watch British Parliament. Videos in Parliament because it's like going back in time.
Like the C-SPAN of the UK. Just what's going on over there? Yeah,
it's certainly interesting. That's brilliant though, and it's great that it's a real incentive to bring movies because how Sky Studios is relatively new, right? NBC Universal have a huge investment in that, so. I think it sounds like a lot of Universal's next few projects will probably pivot to the UK as well. The whole world era was UK based.
It sounds like it's going to stay there. If those incentives are in there till 2034, there's no, and NBC Universal so heavily invested in Sky Studios, there's no reason for them to back out. No. At least until those incentives run out.
Exactly. It's really exciting. Alex will have to go and crash the set. See if he can get in there, climb the walls of Sky Studios. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. It happened a lot with where they filmed Lockwood Manor. They had fans out in the woods.
Oh yeah, Sicky T was there.
Yeah. Everybody was there trying to get in. People climbing fences. Saw a couple of video people getting chased. There's gunshots. It was crazy going on there. But no.
There was clones. It was a nightmare.
I say they had security, but they were the Brad X's, kind of like a version of Brad.
No, give them.
That's
more
one
ideas.
thing I do hope that they make it into the new movie, whatever form it is. I really hope the Brad X's make it in. because that's like one of the best aspects of Camp Cretaceous, and it feels like very Michael Crichton-y. So
I'm gonna
that's
throw
what
up.
people always say, right? To justify the terrible plot choices. It sounds like Michael Crichton, though. That's what he would do. No, no.
Oh man.
But there's an episode when that first happened in Camp Cretaceous. It reminded me of that episode of Black Mirror, with the black and white episode of Black Mirror, where they have those robot dogs and they've completely like decimated the human population. I'm like, that's the real terrifying aspect of it. In Camp Cretaceous, they somehow managed to still make them these kind of like lame little
Unauthorized
like-
life form detected.
yeah.
Like, why take away from the dinosaurs with something else extravagant? Do you know what I mean? Like, why? They're dinosaurs. Wow, enough. You know?
Right.
Yeah. They did.
Isn't that
I mean,
line like not in the actual movie?
He did. Yeah, it's a different read.
Yeah.
Right. The dinosaurs. Wow, enough. It's like
It's it's so flat in the movie.
It's the worst.
The
It's the worst read.
Yeah.
The trailer line was actually well delivered. I remember that was that was an exciting build up. Actually, didn't they release that scene, the Indominus breakout scene? Didn't they release that scene before the movie's release?
They released like the conversation between Owen and Claire and
Yeah.
all that.
Yeah, the real. Do you remember Josh Whedon saying it was really sexist, and then
Oh yeah.
Josh Whedon?
Oh no.
Yeah.
No.
Oof.
Yeah, Joss Whedon of all people.
Yeah,
That's
seriously.
aged well.
But I swear they dropped the Indominus only a brief bit, but like when the Indominus grabs, or maybe
Yeah, well, that was the clip that went to all like the talk shows. Was that clip? Because I remember the last thing is the
control
dude
room.
getting grabbed, and they're shutting it down in the control room. But they shortened it then too, because like in the movie, the maintenance worker gets grabbed and like ripped apart, and that part was not in that clip. It was just him running towards the gate.
That scene was the most Jurassic of that whole movie. I feel that was a really well orchestrated scene, and down to having the like the poor worker who just like trying to do his job be the one that dies. It's
Kissing his rosary as he gets chomped.
Yeah.
See, that first movie definitely allowed for the extreme moments like that compared to Dominion, where it just felt like I don't know what the phrase would be, softcore violence.
Yeah.
Maybe a better
in
phrase than
that scene where I don't know, I guess he's another maintenance worker, the dude the Indominus chomps that is sitting in front of the car. I can't remember his name, but I watched
Unlucky Bastard.
It might be Self-Reliance the other day, which is a new Jake Johnson movie, and I love my boy Jake Johnson. They're like friends in real life, and he just like randomly popped up in that movie too, and I was like, hey, it's that guy. Those moments where you're just like, woo.
Yeah. All right.
That guy, and he just popped up, and that was cool to see him doing other stuff besides getting eaten by a dinosaur.
Yeah. That was such an unfortunate death. I mean, there were ways to avoid that death too, which I found pretty hard.
Yeah.
For the guy.
just keep running.
But that as well, I remember that scene when the Indominus head comes down in front of the car. I was like, animatronic, and it wasn't. It was ILM doing their best. The same with the shot in the jungle when he rips the worker. I was like, that's an animatronic head. I think there's an article on Jurassic Outpost in the news archives when we were all like, is it animatronic? Is it CG? Because it looks like animatronic. And it was CG. They smashed that out. The Indominus had some of the best CG in that movie.
Yeah.
I only followed JurassicWorld.org at that time, not Jurassic Outpost. So
when we would write about it, we would always write JW.org. But if you actually go to JW.org, there's Jehovah's Witnesses. There was a time when we stopped abbreviating.
It's not John Williams?
No.
I feel like I saw a sign once that it had that, and I sent it to you guys. I was like, look, it's the JW org, and you guys are like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago.
Have you heard about our Lord and Savior, John Hammond?
Yes.
And John Williams. That would be
the creators.
That at this point would be icing on the cake. I feel like they're kind of almost like telling us he's going to come back you know, he's been really active again, and all of a sudden saying like, "I'm not." Didn't he say something like, "I'm not done. I'm
It
not done
makes
till."
me it makes me nervous as hell, let me tell you.
Yeah,
'Cause
yeah.
I 'cause
I don't know
he's
if I
not a
want
young
that.
chap.
No, isn't he
Yeah.
90? Like, isn't he
He's
close to 100?
92. He's 92.
Okay, he's 92. Okay, yeah. I mean, he's doing well. I
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
I think that it feels. I can just sense it. Feels like he might do it. You know,
Yeah.
But do you want him to do it? Because I mean, I
Gareth
I
Edwards. Yeah, I
like
do.
I like the music from the last Indiana Jones movie, but it did feel a very copy paste. You know what I
I
mean?
feel like the movie felt very copy paste. Like the
Maybe
whole
that's
movie.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I'm just going by what I've heard in the movie and on the album. You know what I
I
mean? Like it
think
just
no, I think stylistically it would be very interesting. It would be a completely maybe not a completely different tone, but like you would say, "Oh, this is John Williams." It feels like The Lost World of Jurassic Park because I don't know, he would come back to it naturally. So,
Yeah, but I feel like he would do. He would introduce something even different, right? So obviously, Jurassic
oh
and
yeah,
The Lost World was such a different score, and I do see a lot of people now who aren't Jurassic fans, just general movie and soundtrack fans, talk about. It comes up occasionally. They're like, Lost World is his most underrated score. It's the one that people don't talk about a lot, but it's the one that's
absolutely.
actually like it's so standout. And I feel like the all the different instruments he brought to that, the different soundscapes. I feel like he'll do that again if he came back, and it would be a whole new world of music for us. It would feel like, but I'm also totally not against somebody completely different, like Gareth working with somebody he's worked with before. At this point, it doesn't. It wouldn't be like. It would be amazing if he came back, but I'm fine if he doesn't. He hasn't been on the last three, so
Yeah,
it's okay.
I'm kind of in the same boat.
Last four, shall I say?
Yeah, true. It would be absolutely insane if that happened. So unexpected. But I don't know. If Gareth worked with someone he's worked with before, I think Alexander Desplat could be a good choice. He's much more of the traditional orchestral guy rather than like a more modern hybrid type thing. Which nothing wrong with those things either. But like I was listening to Desplat's Godzilla score, and I was like, yeah, this bombastic, it's brassy, it could he could translate well to Jurassic possibly, but uh, the thing that people in the film music industry know about Alexander Desplat is that he does like 10 movies a year. He's extremely busy, so that would be cool. Maybe he has some space in his calendar. I don't know.
well, and
You can
he's
slip it up on it.
dabbled with like John Williams style before with the Harry
Yeah.
Potter movies. He did the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2 soundtracks.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
So he probably is a little familiar studying Williams a bit for those movies to maybe
Mhm.
bring some of that back for a
Yeah,
Jurassic.
and
Although Edwards also worked with Michael Giacchino for
Well,
Rogue One.
and before Michael Giacchino came onto Rogue One, it was Alexander Desplat.
That's
So,
true.
ooh,
Full circle, baby. Here we
Yeah.
go.
I wonder if that was the studio maybe like chose Giacchino for that because of how he was so large at the time. But then
I
I don't
don't
know.
I if I don't remember the exact story, but I think there were I don't think it was completely creative differences, but I think there was just Desplat's score for Rogue One wasn't totally working, and they just sort of moved forward, and then Giacchino had like a month to write that music because they did it like way late in the
Yeah.
process. But yeah,
Mm.
Pretty good
Yeah,
for that amount of time.
Yeah,
absolutely, yeah.
absolutely.
I hope it's not Giacchino. I do really like his music. I just hope if it's not John Williams, I hope it's somebody else. Then
Someone
Yeah,
new.
yeah,
I want a fresh take. Yeah,
fresh somebody. Yeah, or Don Davis. I'll take some
I
Don
would
Don
love
Davis.
him to come back.
Davis.
He didn't even come back for the new Matrix movie though, which I was really disappointed in. That was what I was looking forward to the most if in a new Matrix movie was Don Davis returning. But if he didn't return for that, I don't see him coming back for Jurassic,
Yeah.
That was a very disappointing
unfortunately.
movie.
It was.
I agree.
was.
Matrix 4. I was
That was
so about
such an odd, so many odd choices in that movie.
saw an argument the other day that it was supposed to be bad. That was the point, and I was like, I just don't. I can't. It was bad for the wrong reasons. It wasn't like, something you can get behind. No, it was.
I
It
think
was a
there is
real
such a thing as
disappointment.
too meta. I think there is such
Mm,
a thing as too meta.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Can't beat the original Matrix. Though. Can't beat the original. And when you
No.
first see, what do they call it? Their underground city.
I know this.
They party. It's like
Oh, the rave. Yeah,
and they're
yeah.
like,
I'll
Bugs
tell you
Life.
what,
Even
though.
the sequels, right?
As far as
Yeah.
movies that have had a bigger impact on my life, me just living with the last name Anderson, that movie I cannot get away from it. Everywhere I go, that's like they'll meet me like, "Hi, my name is Corey Anderson, Mr. Anderson." Yes, yeah, thank you. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah. So
cool.
yeah,
Oh, really? Yeah,
that one has followed me around my whole life.
Naturally.
Yeah. It's understandable. Yeah. No, that is a great movie. The sequels weren't obviously so good though. They were fun. They are fun now, looking back on them as well. They're good watch, but it's a bit. They just don't have that same feeling as. It feels rushed to like. They were just
Well, yeah, the Matrix was supposed to be a one-off movie, and so when it got so big, and they were like, "Oh, let's make some sequels," it does feel like the one is where it logically ended, and then they're like, "Okay, well, let's do 2 and 3 and figure out how to make them fit," and it does have
like
that
Pirates
feel.
of the Caribbean.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
What number are they on now? Pirates of the Caribbean.
It would be 6.
Yeah, if they did a new one. Mm-hmm.
If they so they've only done 5.
They've done
Yeah.
5, yeah.
I swear it's more.
Only.
Yeah, it does feel like
only.
a Land Before Times kind of scenario where we're on like 20 something now.
Yeah, it's like when
Oh,
I think it was in the last podcast I asked about Fast and Furious. I said I think I saw the last one, Fast 7, right? And you're like, nah.
I was
10,
like,
baby.
nah, it's 10. Fasten your seatbelts.
Fast X.
Come on.
Yeah.
Right. Oh man. Do we know when that next movie is out? Fast 11, or is Fast 10 the next one? I don't know.
No, Fast 10 is out. It's like Fast 10 Part 2 is like the next one
Yeah,
that is out.
Split
Like
into
next
2
year?
parts. Yeah.
Mission
And,
Impossible.
Yeah.
When that came out, I watched the whole movie, and then at the end it was like part 1, and I was like, I looked at my friend, and we were both like, what the fuck? Part 1,
We got half
what?
a movie.
Yeah, I didn't know it was. I thought it was just the next Mission Impossible. I didn't know they were splitting them up.
Well, now they've changed that apparently. Now they removed the part 1 from the title, like on streaming and everything. So I don't know. They're not going to call the next one part 2. Apparently, they're just going to call it something else. I'm like,
Maybe
So
what?
it's
I'm never gonna know what happens.
Maybe it's a marketing thing. They think that
I think
keeps
it's a
people from
marketing.
watching it or something. But
Yeah.
Mission Impossible,
I mean-
Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible, I Reckon They're Dead. There we go.
It felt like it felt like a bit of a departure for the Mission Impossible movies. It felt like the first one where I was a bit like, they've been fun. It's getting tired now. But it also did an entire Lost World inspired sequence with the train over the.
yeah.
It's that movie, right? With the train.
Yeah.
And the bridge. That was an
pretty good.
entire inspired by Lost World sequence. I bet you if they'd asked them, they'd pull an Emmerich. They'd be like, what movie? What are you talking about? I've never seen Lost World.
Ethan Hunt even said, "Mommy's very angry."
Yeah. Never heard of Lost World. I didn't know they did a second Jurassic Park. Are you sure? You sure they did?
Man, crazy.
Who directed
Revenge
it?
of
Wait,
Jurassic Park
Spielberg?
2,
What?
Revenge of the Park.
There's our
Park
title.
harder.
There's our title.
Wasn't there a movie years ago that was called like Number 3, but it had no 1 or 2? It was
Trolls.
Star Wars?
Trolls?
Well, there was a Trolls 2, but like it held itself as like a sequel to Trolls, but it wasn't about trolls at all. It was
okay.
its own
I
thing.
love
It
Troll
might have
2.
been that.
Yes.
I swear there's like another one where it was like 3, but like there was literally nothing before it. That was the gimmick of that. It was like a Chucky-esque kind of, that kind of movie, B movie. But I don't know.
Did Tommy Wiseau direct it or something? Like,
I think it was
Have you
called.
seen Big Shark? Big Shark.
I need to see that.
Yeah.
Whenever it's
That's
available.
what the next Jurassic is. It's going to be Big Jaws.
Big Jaws. I was
He's
halfway
good.
there.
Yeah, it's it's just Jaws, Jurassic Jaws,
You've heard of Jaws.
Jaws
Next
Jurassic
summer.
Park.
Land
Big
Jaws.
Jaws. Land Jaws.
See, why do sharks get a whole week, but dinosaurs never get a whole week? There's no dinosaur week on, National
You got a
Geographic
whole
or
month.
Discovery.
Jurassic
What the hell?
June. What are you talking
Jurassic
about?
June.
Yeah, but that's
Isn't
not
that-
on the Discovery Channel. Okay.
No, this is true.
Network
This is true.
TV. What is that?
But that's the thing as well. After Dominion, I really did think that Universal might let the property die a little bit, whether unintentional or not. I was worried that there will be no sort of continuation factor. It will feel like until there's a movie, what's going on. But it's not true. We're getting a whole animated series this year, and we know there's a bunch of series already made for that, right? Or like they're planning more than just the first series because it's an animated show. We have an entire game coming out in theory, which is, it really does feel like they are keeping this franchise active. Sign that new deal with Mattel. I think
Yeah.
all those worries about they might let it die or it might die naturally. This is not going anywhere. Jurassic. It's going to be here for a while. So I do hope that the next movie is like they nail it, and then it sets us off right.
Yeah.
Everything from that point is like could go in the right direction. Even though we don't need more. We don't need
don't you think
7,
it's still
8,
too
9
soon?
movies. It's like I'm
Yeah.
fine. If they're good movies, I'll take them. If they actually try and do unique things, the things that we've been asking for, then fuck it. Like, yeah, they're gonna spend their money doing that. Then fine, I'll watch it.
What were you
I
gonna
agree.
say, Derek?
Oh, I just think, isn't it still just a little too soon? For a movie. For the other stuff, it makes sense, but I still think doing a new movie this soon, that's like basically a new reboot. Like, it's not just a direct sequel, or at least not that we're aware of. And it's not gonna have any of the same characters anyway, so it's not like we're continuing, a singular story, really. It's like starting a new story, so it's just like, I don't know, I feel like it's a little too soon. That's just me.
Do you think you'll feel the same next year, though? Do you feel like
Yeah.
after another year, you might be like, actually, I'm ready now?
Well, yeah, because
I'm
I'll be
ready.
part of the hype. It
Yeah.
happens every time. I feel like, oh, I'm not gonna get excited for this one. Like, I remember Dominion, I had like zero excitement, but then like the months leading into it, I was like, oh yeah, let's bring it, let's do this,
You were
baby.
camped outside
Like,
a cinema for a couple of weeks, weren't you? Waiting for
oh
that.
yeah, I grew a whole beard and everything. It was just like,
Yeah. We lost
Jesus
track of you
Derek.
for a few
So,
weeks, and
yeah.
turns out you were just outside the cinema. It was
Yeah.
just waiting to get in.
Yeah.
Did anyone here make it to the premiere of Dominion?
No.
No.
Me.
You meant Caleb, right?
I did, yeah.
I saw Neem said it was pretty much like influencers.
So
You
we were in the screening. There were a lot of people there, and the screening room that they had us in was mostly influencers, yes. And then the other one was where Trevorrow and all the folks who worked on the film were. But
Damn.
it was in the same
should've-
building. It's in the same
They
building.
should have recognized the fan. They should have put just the selective few. They'd be like,
I agree.
on the timeline, like, is Jurassic Caleb here? Is Jurassic Caleb come down to the front desk? Bring you in. They
On
start
my
calling
way.
you out by your Instagram handles.
By my YouTube name.
Yeah, Jurassic Caleb. We got Jurassic Memoirs here. Anybody? But yeah,
Nah,
it's
we
a
don't
shame
care
that
about them. No.
never made it to a world premiere. I think I was invited to the Fallen Kingdom one. I couldn't make it, prior commitments.
Well, that was the
And
first
then,
time I met Caleb. We were supposed to go out there for the Fallen Kingdom premiere, and it
Yeah,
just ended up being later than we expected it to be.
We
Yeah.
booked a trip to LA, like trying to guess when the premiere would be. and then Universal all of a sudden was like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna put this JP25 event 2 weeks before you're there, and then we're gonna make the premiere of Fallen Kingdom 2 weeks after you're there."
Yeah.
Oh man.
This is just a funny anecdote from that trip, and it's one of my favorite parts about this trip is, so we went and saw Fallen Kingdom on opening night, and then we went to Denny's immediately after we got out of the theater, and our waiter's name was Dino or Dino.
Yep.
It was D-I-N-O, whatever it was. But it could not have been better. It was just so hilarious.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Dude, I
It was meant to be.
remember sitting at that Denny's really vividly, and we were like all sitting there like, what'd you think about the movie? What'd you think about this? What'd you think about that? And
It's a
like
tough conversation after Fallen
some
Kingdom.
of us didn't like it, and I was excited about Maisie and the human clone thing. That just really made me happy. And y'all were like, yeah, I don't know. It was funny.
I can't remember who all fell in the bad and the good camp on that. I don't remember. But
Yeah.
it was just I think we were all just like really tired because it was a long day.
It was definitely, I think, after Jurassic World, I was really hoping they would like nail that next one for me, and that was like a double gut punch after that, especially because that opening scene, even though the opening scene was really bombastic and crazy, it still felt grounded and Jurassic. It felt right. It worked on that level. Gave us the right level of tease as well. You know, the sound of the Dilophosaurus, and the guy,
Yeah,
the
they
range
tricked us.
T-Rex, you know.
Because they showed us that at the JP25 in advance too, for anyone who was there.
Could have shown the whole movie,
we
but they were like, let's just show him the good bit.
We'll make them think the whole movie's like this, and then they'll all go and see it, which is, I think, what happened, honestly.
That's what happened, yeah.
Yeah. They were like, oh yeah, that's what the whole movie's like. Trust us, we're filmmakers. And
It set it up real well. It did. It opened the movie well. I was really, really excited for Fallen Kingdom after that. Just like going back to the island, seeing them in that sub as well. That was freaky as hell.
The sub lights just going off, like
yes.
good, so good.
It was really, really well done. Really well put together.
I just loved how ridiculous the mosasaur coming all the way out and grabbing him off of the ladder. Like it's just amazing, ridiculous.
Just ridiculous, but it would have been wrong if they didn't do it, because you had to see her again.
They had to.
Yeah, you had to see her, and then see her swim away. That's good. She gets freedom as well.
Swim away.
East Australian current is on her way.
Thank you for understanding that reference.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how like the early reviews were for Fallen Kingdom. Like, did people like it at first? Because I mean, I was able to go to an early press screening of Fallen Kingdom thanks to Brian, Neo Jurassic, for anyone who listens to his podcast. And I remember when I went there, they had like little goodie bags afterward with like little stuff in it. It's like, yes, please leave a good review. Here's some free popcorn. Here's some
here's like a
picture photo op. Yeah. So
yeah.
I think they do that with every press screening though, for ones that public can attend, like that one, because that's how you get into those. It's like anyone can go, but it's a limited amount, so you have to get there at the right time, and then they cut the line off at a certain point, and then that's it. Yeah. But I remember I saw even before the soundtrack came out, so I didn't know what the music was going to sound like or anything. And I was like, whoa, Giacchino, you're nailing this one. Like, it's so operatic. But I thought it was a hot mess, but I love it for the hot mess that it is.
It's a good way to describe it, actually. It is kind of a hot mess, because it's a beautiful movie. It really is a beautiful movie, but it's a mess. So, yeah, it's a hot mess. I like that. I hope the next one is.
I'm taking that.
Is just a hot, not mess.
It's like a bowl of nachos. It's like it's yummy, but it doesn't look very appealing. I mean, but it's the reverse for Fallen Kingdom. It looks really appealing. It's a reverse bowl of nachos. Trademark.
You know what I really like about Oscar For's work is his recreation of those shots on top of the cliff where they're looking down at the game trail in Lost World. When Claire and Owen are looking down at the pier, it's the same exact shot. It even tracks up in the same way. Like
I never noticed that.
He does that twice, and I'm like, it's nothing but inspired by that shot. He obviously had just done his research. He'd watched those three movies, and picked out a number of very Jurassic like kind of setups. It was like, well, when they're watching the pier, it's when they're watching the cliff. Like when they're on the cliff. I'm like, that I really liked his attention to detail there. The movie was full of it, actually. There were a lot of nods to original, like, shots that stand out. Just the way it was, the first two movies were shot. Oscar Fora definitely got that. So I think we said it in the last pod we did, but I'd take an Oscar for her with Gareth Edwards. I think that would be quite a good combination.
We were talking about cinematographers. Fallen Kingdom, my beloved. The shot of the Indoraptor on the roof will just always be one of my favorite, like in any Jurassic film. It's bombastic is the word. It's just like old.
Do you think it's the most
horror.
iconic shot that's come out of the world era?
I don't know that I would say that objectively. I think for me, like the combination of the music and like the moonlight, and it's this monstrosity howling on the roof. It's just like
it's like gothic awesome. Horror.
Yeah, exactly.
Really,
yes.
Yeah.
And the shadows too. Like John Gershie did some concept art for the first Jurassic Park, but these scary raptor shadows, like in the visitor center. And I feel like either someone saw that or they had a similar vision and applied that to Fallen Kingdom with all the creepy shadow work for the Indoraptor when it goes into Maisie's bedroom. I think that's my favorite.
That.
Oh yeah.
Claws are like coming, like crawling into the window. Yeah. It's proper horror. Really, really freaky stuff.
It opens the doorknob with its claw. I was like, yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Awful.
Hey,
hot mess.
I might have some good cinematographer news, because the leading word on the interwebs at the moment is that the Batman is going to shoot in the UK starting sometime this month.
Ooh.
And Jurassic is supposedly not going to start shooting in the UK until June.
Not a lot of prep for Greg, but
right. And I don't know how long the Batman Part 2's shoot is planned to be, and all the logistics of everything. But I thought they were going to shoot much closer to at the same time. So like this gives me hope for Greg Fraser to work with Gareth Edwards again and shoot a Jurassic film. But anyway,
who did the creator? That was Greg, right?
It was Greg overseeing a couple of other people. Yeah,
that's right.
But it has Greg's flair.
I mean, there's. Yeah, it really depends on how intensive that Batman 2 shoot is, which I imagine is probably quite an intensive, very big shoot.
Yeah, it's
good. But if he's across the road, technically, I mean, it doesn't really work this way, but technically, after hours, he could do some prep work on the next Jurassic, and then go back the next day to Batman.
It won't be just like flipping on the kitchen light, but
but. It'd be interesting. I mean, I'd take him. When we made. I think we made a video where we talked about it. I looked at the Batman's cinematography and really had a new look at that movie because I didn't like that movie when it first came out. In fact, I think we switched it off like an hour in. I was like, I can't do it anymore. But it's a beautiful movie. And
you just murdered Caleb.
No, we've talked about this. We've
had this conversation.
I need to rewatch it for sure because it must have just been a bad day or something.
It's grown. I had the first reaction when I watched it too. I wasn't a huge fan of it. It didn't feel like a Batman movie. It just felt like a detective movie that Batman just happened to be in. But the more that I've watched it several times since then. I've grown to enjoy it a lot more than the first time I did.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
So
definitely
wasn't he always a detective though, like Batman the character? Like,
yeah, I mean he is the world's greatest
detective. Yeah,
and I understand that aspect of it, but there was nothing the first time I watched it that made him different than just a normal detective. He just happened to be in a bat costume, and it was like, okay,
I see.
Like can we have like something elevated beyond that? But the more I've watched it, the more I've grown to really enjoy it and find it more than just, hey, this is a weirdo in a bat costume that's just doing detective work.
Yeah, I think it's tough because they had to follow like the 3 best Batman movies we've had.
Oh, for sure.
So far, right? So it's tough. Like I get that might have played into my subconscious of like when I was watching, I was like, it's no Dark Knight,
well,
like,
and I
ready
mean,
to hate.
It's it's completely different from those Nolan movies for sure.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. Although it has visually, it has a very similar tone. It's very dark. It's very
oh yeah,
the palette is they chose a really nice color palette actually. Greg Fraser's work on that. I think I found
that's what I'm
a screenshot
saying.
of like all the screens from the movie and the colors. Yeah, it's yeah. I
Greg
think
Fraser shot both Dunes as well. Like he's
Just
just
knocked it out of
so
the park.
good. He is so good.
he would be a really good pick, wouldn't he? And I think give him some jungle, give him you know give him Jurassic. Actually, that's an interesting point. Will it even be a jungle? I guess that will be dependent on if we're going back to the islands or not.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah.
kind of hope we are. I do hope it's an island, like not the whole movie on the island, but I do hope we get Sauna or Nublar again, or
I mean,
one of the five dead.
if you can
It's in a
do what
flashback.
he did with desert, I think a jungle, really any scenario, you're gonna excel. Desert, you've got like nothing to work with besides just the people that are there, and it looks stunning,
Why not?
just
Yeah.
stunning. And
Some
give him something else, and yeah, he'll knock it out of the park.
some of the best like cinematography in Jurassic Park and the Lost World is dark with very interesting engaging sources of light, like all those scenes in the control room, like
Yeah,
the scenes
lights
in
from like the
the
servers, the screens,
yeah.
different like projection.
And there in Dune Part 2 there are some shots like that where we're sort of in a dark environment but light is coming from portals, like windows or openings, or like I don't know. It's I hope, I don't know, I have no control over this, but like maybe he's like Gareth and he's like, this is a chance to work on Jurassic. I have to take this or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
That's what we
Because
want.
that might have been one of his inspirational movies. He may have liked Jurassic and Lost World, and Kaminsky might be a big inspiration of his. Because to be
Yeah.
fair, you look at Kaminsky's work, and you're like, okay, I can see a comparison. Like they both are a big fan of Shadows.
Yeah.
You know, and that is rare in blockbusters. That's one of the things with John Schwartzman, Jurassic World. It just felt a bit too bright for me. Like he is a great cinematographer on Saving Miss. What's that film? Saving Miss Daisy. Saving the one
Driving Miss
about
Daisy?
no, the one about
Is that what you're
saving
talking?
the one that John Schwartzman shot about with Tom Hanks about.
What's it about?
I don't
Forrest
even know.
Gump. Like,
No, hold on. I get it. He suits he suits certain movies.
Oh,
Very
you're talking about Saving Mr. Banks or whatever?
oh, God.
Saving
The
Mr.
Walt Disney
Banks.
movie?
Yes. Yeah. But he suits that, right? The Hollywood, the bright lights, the big studios, like it suited that movie because that's what the movie was about. Whereas Jurassic World, like I'm a big fan of motivated lighting, which what you were saying before, June, like you kind of always know where the light's coming from. I'm a big fan of that style of lighting. Jurassic World felt like it wasn't that because we were in the middle of a jungle and it felt like there was 1,000 lights on everyone, and that's what for me. I'm like I'm ready for some shadow, some darkness.
It got better when it got night. Like when we got to the point where it was in the evening and we're going to like, despite
The raptor.
the motorcycle with the raptors, like I feel like it got better once it got darker and it felt
Yeah,
better. But you're right. Like
for
during
sure,
the
for
day,
sure.
it was like okay, there's too it's everything's too exposed. Whereas Jurassic Park is to me is like let's conceal a little bit, let's hide it.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously in the first Jurassic Park, it's a little brighter because it's supposed to be this new park and stuff. But when things go to shit, the power goes out and it's very dark. Lost World, you're going into this lost world. It's dark. There's no light. That's the point. I really like that, and it's even something Shelley Johnson said because everybody knows the story of JP3 and the prep work. They didn't have as much time, so that's why the movie ended up in certain ways. But there are sequences in that movie which are perfect, like the birdcage, the aviary sequence, and the way that's lit and the mystery. And Shelley said when they were working on JP4 and planning it and talking, when he would talk to Joe about it, they were both always like, we got to go darker. It's got to be like the aviary, but darker, like more spooky and scary, that kind of look. And I was like, most people I think can agree that that's one of the aspects of the original movies. When you become abandoned, the power goes out, it's dark. It's scary, you can't see. Like that is supposed to be like a big aspect of it. Same like at the opening of Fallen Kingdom when it's really dark and he can't see what's going on. He's got a flashlight and he's like, you know, it's rain, he can't hear anything. Like, that's terrifying. That's why it worked.
Exactly.
It's like
Yeah.
the Lost World teaser trailer with the lightning. I felt like it was inspired by that in some way because you only saw the Rex. Yeah,
That piece of music.
Do you know
I
what that
used to,
music's
like,
from?
I do.
yeah, isn't it Hans Zimmer, isn't it?
It's Zimmer,
Hans
but
Zimmer.
it's from Backdraft, the firefighter movie.
Oh,
Of all
Okay.
movies.
interesting. Yeah. It's a good teaser, that, actually. Was that the first
Oh, it's
Lost World
fantastic.
teaser?
I think it
First one?
was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty good.
I think that's
Shot
all
the
it
other big
was.
ones.
It was just the lightning and the Rex and the puddle of water and the logo comes up. Yeah. I think that's all it was.
Has survived.
Yes. So in.
But
So
will it be
in.
us?
Looking forward to the tagline for the next movie as well. In a city near you.
No.
No one has survived. Dun, dun, dun.
No one has survived.
Dinosaurs
Everyone
coming to
dies at
your
the
city.
Yes.
So in. Well, I think that's a good point to end it on, guys. It's been good chatting Jurassic with you. Unless either of you have any, either of you guys have any final points. I think we covered all the news. We covered it.
Greg Fraser, if you can hear this, help us, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're our only hope.
Yeah.
Help us help you.
Please.
Tell us what to do. We'll do it. We'll
Yes.
get it.
That's what we need next. It feels like I want a cinematographer announcement, and I want to know who's going to score the movie.
Mhm.
I'd like to know a composer at this point. I think all the pieces are coming together. It's going to be, we'll hear this very soon. The movie's coming out
Got to.
just over a year time, so we're going to hear about casting, we're going to hear about everything. So it's going to be very exciting. But thanks for chatting, guys, and everybody out there. Thank you for listening to the Jurassic Outpost podcast. Head to the website. There's been some great roundtables recently with getting all the voices of Outpost on, talking all things Jurassic. But yeah, you can check out those previous episodes, and thank you for watching this, guys. See you at Jurassic City, I guess.
See you there.
See ya.
I'm going to get my hotel room now.
Stop sign.
Yeah.